What happens when you take the idea of making a street racing game and smash it together with a fighting game? You get the most unorthodox street racing series to ever be created. Tokyo Xtreme Racer is quite a long series spanning from 1994 to their last hurrah in 2017. In particular, I'm going to be talking about 3 as it's the best for newbies and has the most content. Developed by Genki, the series is relatively unheard of, which is a shame given they have quite a few quirks that no other Western game has followed. The series is tough as nails, demands your patience, and most of all, has a totally different way of racing compared to anything else. Being developed in Japan, a place with its own car culture that totally departs from what the USA and Europe have, it focuses on highway battles, something the Midnight Club made infamous with their purpose-built machines that outclassed even the best supercars from the late 80s through to the turn of the millennium. With this said, while other racing games have you all start from one point and end at another, TXR has you flash your headlights to get a race going, meaning the race can start anywhere. The ending is whatever you make of it too, as the health bar ticks down from the latter driver more or less depending on the distance between each other. This loop is the game's killer app as it leads to so many variables in how a race goes. That said, the Japanese highway system is nothing like what the Western world sees. The C1 loop is more like a tight racetrack with bends constantly, making you vary your speed, while the main Wangan line is a pure top speed thrill with the only prevention from maximum velocity being the traffic that scatters your route. So, cars. In the early games they were unlicensed, but with the release of 3, it was the first mainline game to have licensed cars, and by God did they do a good job. While the majority fits the Japanese streets, we get Mercs, V-Dubs, Lotus, and even a Mustang and Vet to give that diversity. Unfortunately, Honda didn't make the cut as the Japanese department of Honda refuses to allow their cars in street racing games, explaining why the American Need for Speed can have them, but some of Japan's finest road racers didn't make the cut. Even the customization goes deep, with you debating on not just the performance and body kits, but even deciding what material to have a body kit made out of, as carbon fibre is always expensive yet the lightest. There is even the depth of changing your gear ratios, boost pressure, and suspension to tweak your car to perfection depending which part of the highway system you plan on running. There is only one gripe TXR will ever give you. It's difficulty. TXR is not meant to be easy. Money is hard to come by, and beating some of the boss rivals gives you more self-worth than the extra money they provide. To top that off, there are even rivals who have specific requirements to even race them, called the Wanderers, who instead of being affiliated with any of the game's existing teams, are their own drivers with custom logos. These requirements range from certain numbers of days passed, not having a wing on your car, to even the well-known Whirlwind Fanfare rival, who asks you to have 1 billion in your account, something impossible in the American release as the money was converted from being like yen to US dollars, limiting the max amount you can accumulate in game to $1 short. One thing that does make the sheer 600 rivals interesting is that each one of them has their own bio and history that spans throughout all of the mainline releases. By playing all of the games, you can see how certain teams have changed, that certain drivers have their own passions and friendships, something that no other game really does. So, why the buzz? TXR is a wild departure from anything the West releases. There is a certain flair the game strives to have unlike any other street racing game I've ever played. It's got its own distinct style and doesn't merge with anything else on the market. Genki made what was becoming a tired genre trope by making their own racing game not about beating a certain rival or easily beating everyone. Instead, they crafted a game that makes you struggle, that makes you not just race faceless entities, but other drivers who might have been around for a few months or years. It's a game that only a creative group of people could make. Thank you for watching. TXR is one of my favourite game series ever, so that's why I haven't said that I recommend it or not, because I am quite biased. But that's why I've tried to explain it as clearly as possible. Give it a try if you like it, if not, don't. But most of all, thank you for at least watching this to the end. I respect it. Have a good one, y'all.